I've noticed that's bad. More time can actually work against you. Because people put it off and put it off and put it off and then wait. There's a fine balance between enough time and too much time, and not enough time. I mean, if I posted it 2 days before it's due, that's inexcusable on my part. If I posted 2 weeks, 2 weeks is like, okay, 2 weeks, plenty of time, plenty of time. If I do it any more than that, a couple of problems arise, one of which is that you guys forget that it's there.
I was actually joking about my grade, that's all.
Well, I think about that, actually think about it though. So anyway, but it's still an exam. It still has that aura about it, even though it wasn't taken in class out of the gun at times. So the rainy day coupons, I made another link to them. There was only one link to them, which was in week 3. So I put a second link up. If you look at that, there's also an exam coupon. There's a quiz correction coupon. I think I told you guys about that one, yeah? About how you can make up a quiz, right? There's the project coupon, which I'm guessing hardly anybody's used yet in this class, and most folks don't use it. That's why you have 5 extra credit points right now in your grade. It's because if you haven't used this yet, then you still have those 5, and you'll keep that as long as you don't use it. But then there's the exam coupon for exam number 1. And this allows you to get 5 of those points back, if you missed 5 points. Some of you didn't miss 5. Some of you got hundreds, that's awesome, except you can't use the coupon, sorry. If you got a 98 or if you got a 97, then you can get the 3 points or 2 points that you missed back. If you got a 95, get all 5 points back. If you got like a 77, you can get 5 points back, get an 82. But the idea, the point of it is to have you go back in and look at stuff again. Reassess. Sometimes, Lord only knows what happens. I mean, with time and schedules and weather and things like that, you might not have had the time you wanted to spend on every single question. Maybe you didn't get a chance to read things as carefully as you would have hoped. This allows you to have a little bit more time to go back and analyze again. I try, as you've noticed, I keep cycling topics on quizzes. And this is just one more way of cycling. There are a few ideas in this course that I think are, I hate to say more important than others, but I think that's correct. They're more modal than others. You see them over and over again, like averages and variation and things like that. They kind of permeate every element of the course. Today's a perfect example. We're talking about outliers today, how to measure outliers, which sounds like a new topic until you realize it's not. It's a culmination of old topics and how to identify these things. So I kind of like that cyclical educational idea. This is one more of my sneaky ass tools to get you to do it. So print the coupon off if you want to use it, attach it to the original exam, and follow the instructions. Let me highlight the important parts. Number 1, you have to print this. I don't care if it's in color, that's irrelevant to me. Just got to print it, attach it to your exam. You got to do corrections. I don't care how many you can do as many as you want, but you'll only get 5 total points back. They have to be correct to get the points back. I had to add that a few years ago because people were turning in wrong answers and demanding points, and I said, well, they're not right. And they said, well, the coupon doesn't say they have to be right. So I had to add the corrections must be correct because we've got future lawyers in the room apparently. So anyway, and here's the key. The key really is you have to write a sentence about what you did wrong the first time. And that might be, I had no idea what I was doing the first time. That could be a legitimate sentence. And the next sentence has to be what you learned by doing it again the second time. Does that make sense? So it's a little meta-analysis of your exam, at least a section of your exam. Cool. I didn't put a due date on it. I think it makes the most sense to knock it out as quickly as possible while this is fresh in your mind. Although I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to allow it to get too far from your mind. We never really stop talking about this stuff. It cycles more. Make sense? Decent? Yes, hopefully. So individual questions, I would be happy to talk about individual questions at the break. On the way to my next class, I can walk with you and talk. That's totally fine. But I was intentionally vague on writing too much because the point is to have you guys go back and analyze it again. You've got all the tools you need. You got all the tools you need. Sometimes it's just a matter of talking to somebody else. Or me. That's fine too. Very few people asked me for help before the exam was turned in, which I was stoked about. Totally stoked about, actually. It means you're using resources other than me, which is totally fine. Totally fine. But don't be afraid to use me as a resource too. Cool? Any questions you got on this? Don't forget about it. Like I said, I used to have a due date that it was due the next class day. There's a lot to do the next class day. I mean, you've got potentially quizzes, and there's definitely a project due next class. So I didn't want to make this due as well. If you need over the weekend to look at this, by all means, go ahead. But don't forget it's there. Don't let those 5 points go unclaimed. Get them back. get them back. You guys are all crushing right now. I'm looking at the grade distributions and I'm just totally stoked. So, cool. Any questions? Please, Lyndon.
So did you find that we did better with it being an all out of class exam? Better?
Great question. Lyndon's asked a fantastic question. I used to give half in, half out of class assessments. And one of the things we're going to talk about at the end of the course on that last day is which you guys would prefer and why. I don't know if data yet to look. I mean, I can compare the distribution this term to the distribution last term, but there's too many confounding variables to do that a one-to-one comparison. It's not visibly different as far as I can tell. If anything, it looks a smidge better, but I don't think that is measurable at this point. It's a great question. It's a fantastic question. I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for you right now. I think it might take a couple of years for me to actually collect enough data to know whether or not something's going on. It's always tricky to kind of figure out if a change is having an effect, because so much else is changing with that change. So I'm going to keep an eye on it for sure. See, I do want to know. I want to know for lots of reasons, obviously. But mostly is just the relief that I think I see in you guys of not having to come in here with like a timed 2-hour exam, sit down and regurgitate to me. Having time. It's more realistic too. It's more like what a job would contain. I think. Anyway. Other questions? Go.
So this is only good for exam 1, right?
And the reason, not because I'm a bastard, but you hand me exam 2 and then you walk out of my life.
Okay. So I just want to make sure.
But I mean, if you think about it, you handed exam 2 on that last day,
Okay.
and I never see you again, so you couldn't do corrections on exam 2.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, there used to be 2 because I gave 3 exams, which is something else I'll ask about on that last day. Should I have more than just 2?
No.
Sorry. I'm going to ask on the last day, Matt. You said that had been here for 5 weeks. So that's just the kind of things I want to assess meaningfully and properly, so that's good. That's good. Hi.
Well,
Cool? Make sense?
yeah.
I should say, yeah, you should have 4.
4?
I'll be out of the class with.
I want to talk about all this with you guys. Based on research that I've been consuming about how students learn the best possible ways, there's reasons I've made the changes I've made. So I want to chit-chat. I want to see if the research that I've consumed, which was not done at community colleges, translates well to you guys as students as a whole. I'm curious. This is kind of an experiment. You guys are my guinea pigs, and I appreciate you being willing guinea pigs. I do appreciate it. Cool. Other questions? What do you got right now? You guys need, if you would sort through here, your stuff's all up here. By all means, have at it. Actually, let me do it for you. It's easier that way.